Listen, the college football playoff rankings will work itself out at some point. And yes, there is a lot of parity and not as much clarity as we want. But if I were on the committee last night, I would have had one major concern. Washington deserves to be in the number 4 spot over Florida State. If you're brand new here, welcome on into the channel. My name is Cole Thompson. I'm a radio show host based in Houston, and I talk college football daily. I talk NFL, MLB, NHL, NBA, but I love talking college football. And if this is the type of content you enjoy, this is the channel made for you. So hit the subscribe button down below. Leave a comment telling me what you think of the top 6 rankings, who was right, who was wrong. Tell your friends, your family, your pastor, everybody at your church, the drunk guy passed out in a Publix parking lot about this channel, because in 1 week, I'm cutting my hair. If you would like to see all of this shaved live on air, we got to get to 1,000 subscribers. To go ahead and do that, make sure you hit the subscribe button, and let's talk college football. By the way, mustache right here, I'm growing it out for Movember. This is not a sponsorship deal. I just would like to bring awareness to testicular cancer, prostate cancer, and men's suicide, which is growing at an exceedingly alarming rate globally. If you'd like to donate, be a part of the cause, make sure that you go visit Movember.com or click in the link down below. So again, everybody's going to have their opinion on who belongs in the top spot. There's countless people who are annoyed that Ohio State has not been penalized because of who they've played. There's an argument that Georgia belongs in the number 1 spot after their dominant and honestly progressively strong win against Missouri. I don't really care. I don't really even care that right now we don't have a game to really measure Michigan on just yet. Here's what I will say. Washington had a tougher matchup against USC, and a USC team that I know is depleted. It's lost all resistance. Basically, it's no longer the happiest place on earth. Not even Disneyland could save this season. They had a tougher matchup than Pitt. That's what it is. You played against the Heisman Trophy reigning quarterback in Caleb Williams, and you want to go toe-to-toe with him. And more importantly, you want to go toe-to-toe with him in his own backyard, which automatically makes this a more tougher challenge because of we know what flaws are found on this defensive side for Washington. Where Pitt's an average team. You knew they're going to take a step back. Probably this year was really a really sour step back, but still, they got the doors blown off them by Notre Dame. A Notre Dame team that lost to Clemson a week later. And yeah, that game was in Clemson, whatever. I'm not going to go into too much detail. What I care about, though, is the way that we view the scheduling. If we want to go ahead and say that Florida State, even without Keon Coleman, even without Johnny Wilson, their level of competition has been stale, it's not even that. It's the way that they've played the games. The game on the field does matter. And I thought was really impressive about Washington's performance over USC wasn't the fact that you were able to find success through the air with Michael Penix Jr., which you were. He threw for over 258 yards. He had 2 passing touchdowns. Good day for him. But they decided to go ahead and add another element to their success. Dylan Johnson. Dylan Johnson, going into this game, I think had about roughly 325 rushing yards. And he nearly doubled his production in an evening. That's what happened. They decided to trust what they knew, that number 7 would get them 6 points on the regular, move the sticks, keep drives alive, and open up the playbook a little bit more to make it a dynamic, cohesive, sound unit. That to me is more impressive than being able to win without 2 of your top receivers. Because if Florida State holds itself to the standard that we are holding them to, nationally, globally, however you want to phrase it, it shouldn't matter that you don't have Keon Coleman out on the field. It shouldn't matter that you don't have Johnny Wilson at your disposal. You still have Jakeem Bell. You still have countless young up-and-coming receivers that needed a game to really get their bankings underneath them. More importantly, you also have Trey Benson at the running back position, who did have a good day, nearly rushed for over 100 yards, also had a touchdown. It's one thing to say, like, yeah, you have all those things at your disposal, but when you win a football game in a way that a lot of people didn't expect it to occur, that to me stands out because it shows that you have progressed as an offense. And I'm not saying that USC's defense is anything to write home about. In fact, it's arguably not just the worst in the Pac-12, it's one of the worst in college football. But we knew that this was going to be a game won through the air by Michael Penix. We knew that Rome Odunze and Jalen McMillan and all these wide receivers that eventually we'll call Sunday home, an absolute masterclass of performance. We knew that that was supposed to be the case, and it wasn't. Dylan Johnson instead decides to rush for over 250 yards, 4 touchdowns on the day, and he also was named the Doak Walker Representative of the Week. You don't win football games based off of what you think you know. You win football games based off how the defense gives you advantages or what the offense shows you. And what did the offense show? That there was an opening for the rushing attack to be potent, and this is a warning sign that if you allow us to get our ground game going, watch out. Washington still is one of the most dangerous teams in college football. And it's so funny to hear how nobody wants to talk about Washington. Have you noticed that? Go listen to any major network show or any one of the other YouTube streams on this channel that we all know about. Now, I'm not going to say their names because I like these people. I think that they're very good at their job. But nobody talks about Washington. We only talk about Oregon. Oregon is the one team. And we'll talk about USC because of the failure that was 2023. They're going to have to live with the reality that Caleb Williams walked into their door unannounced saying, I don't want to stay in Oklahoma. I want to join Lincoln Riley. And Lincoln Riley will never be able to hoist up a national title trophy with him. And people focus in on that more so than Washington. Washington's good. When their offense is clicking, it's one of the most dynamic units in college football. And now that you've seen what Dylan Johnson can do, that to me stands out a lot more than what an offense could look like without Keon Coleman, without Johnny Wilson. And it's 1 week. I get it. It's going to work itself out. And at the end of the day, both these teams still have a legitimate shot of not only going to the college football playoff, but maybe even meeting up in the national championship. You got to realize that Florida State continues to win. They're not going to be left out. They'll be undefeated. They'll be in the playoff. Washington continues to win. Washington will win out. They'll be undefeated. But here's really where I stand when it comes to Washington moving forward. Look at their schedule. They've already gotten 3 ranked wins on the year. They have a victory over USC, a victory over Oregon. My apologies, 2 ranked wins on the year. They potentially have a 3rd coming this week against Utah. Then they have potentially a 4th coming against Oregon State. And then on top of all of that, if they go to Las Vegas, which as of right now, I don't expect them to miss out. If they go to Vegas, they would have a 5th ranked win, more than likely over one of the opponents they've already played, or Oregon, who's going to be a top 10 team. So Oregon, top 10 win twice, 3 other ranked victories. I'm sorry. To me, that says more than what you have with Florida State. Florida State right now has 2 ranked wins. One over LSU that got the doors beaten off of them because of a depleting defense in Tuscaloosa, and Duke. And Duke's a good team, but Duke also has been hindered by injuries. They haven't had Riley Leonard half the time. And in the second half, again, you didn't have your quarterback out there. What was the same occurrence? Sluggish first half. Yes, Washington has had those same type of performances, but Washington in the same breath has played better competition in a more rigorous conference, and they've done their job as an undefeated team. It means nothing. It's not really that big of a deal. It'll all work itself out. But if Washington wins this weekend over Utah, I get it. It's in Seattle. So be it. It won't be at Rice Eccles. If they win against Utah, and if they do what they did like Oregon did, how do you not put them at number 4? How honestly can you justifiably say that Florida State, who still is trying to find out its own rhythm and dynamics of being a complete roster, because when they're good, they're great. But we've seen this time and time again. They don't always live up to the competition. Washington so far continues to play in the biggest stages, and when they do, they walk away victorious. This is just me. I would put them at the number 4 spot this week, and certainly if they get a win on Saturday in Seattle, they belong at number 4. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching that video. Don't hit the X button yet. Make sure you hit subscribe to keep up with all of our daily content found on Just Saying It and anything else that we post on this channel. Bye.